Spacey, sticky, super cush. It just fits different. Experience a new high. Ultra, stay out there.
Megan Hicks of I Run Far. I'm with Abby Hall. It's the day after her win of the 2025 Western States Endurance Run. How does that feel to hear that?
It is surreal, honestly. I mean, I feel like it hit me a little bit more today, just driving back up to the track for Golden Hour and just really soaking in what happened yesterday. I feel like I was so focused on not letting myself cling to the outcome before it happened. Like even with a couple miles to go, I was like, not yet. Even Robie Point, I was like, not yet. And that's one of the reasons I just pushed hard through the finish. Is I was like, I want to get to the finish and know
Be able to let it
and then I can
sink in.
Exactly. So yeah.
It's still just sinking in right
It
now.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. A performance like this for anybody, any athlete, is like a career-defining performance. But given your history and your lead up to now, it seems even more like a long time coming. When I look at your career, this is something that I might have projected for you circa 2023, and then your life entirely changed then, and the process was put on hold. So, what does that feel to have that career part of it, and then plus bringing yourself back to health from major injury for 2 years-ish, added into that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a massive, massive affirmation to the process that I went through with that whole injury. You put in the work, you do the exercises, you recover from surgery, you do the patient rebuild and all that in hopes that it gets you where you want to be. But I know that's not always how these stories end. I mean, I feel really fortunate. I had really quality surgery, amazing coaches, mentors, PTs, you name it, to help me kind of hold that torch of belief.
Help hold it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can't bear that all yourself, right?
Yeah. But I mean, to make it, I think earlier this season with the golden ticket races, I kind of was feeling okay, I'm back, but also everyone's gotten so good that me being back is now landing me further back in fields than it would have in 2022 or whatever. And so to be able to rise back to keep growing with the tip of the spear of the sport is has been one of my goals. And so yeah, it was really validating.
So affirming of like sticking with the process, however long term it is.
100%.
So for folks watching who may not be familiar, give us a recap on your injury. 2023, big crash on the trail, major injury, major surgery.
Yeah, I was on a easy run from home and about a half mile from the house on the trail that I, always end on. I hyperextended my leg, so it came down really hard on my heel. My knee bent backwards out of socket.
That gives you the shivers.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
To feel that.
So I tore and damaged most of the ligaments, broke my tibial plateau because my femur came crashing into the tibia. Just damage to the whole knee, and had a really major surgery about a month later at the Stedman Clinic. And along the way, I also had some blood clots and kind of complications. So it was kind of for a while just felt like one low after the other. But it's really interesting because during that time, our friend Tom Evans was staying with us, training for Western States that year. Tom helped evacuate me on the trails.
And training to win Western States that year.
Training to later win Western States. And so this all happened maybe a week before the race. And I was I am going to Western States. I'm going to be there. I felt like there was something healing truly about being here, being with our people, and getting to watch Tom do what he'd been preparing so well to execute. And so I was out here 2 years ago on crutches, watching Tom win. And
sitting in the infield with your poor leg extended
exactly.
out. Exactly.
So it doesn't feel like that long ago that's where I was at. And so to be here 2 years later like this feels really full circle.
And to talk about yesterday, you said off camera while we were heading over here that you felt it was in you all day.
Yeah.
Can you share what that felt like or what that was like?
Yeah, I think sorry. I think
Gosh, did you run 100 miles yesterday or something weird?
Saw that dust. I think so many athletes can relate to that feeling of you know, like you're finishing a hard workout or a long run and you're like dreaming. You're like, if I'm entering the track, winning Western States, and like, I feel like you dream and you dream and you dream, and for it to like, finally come true is something that I didn't expect to have the opportunity to do, but like, it also doesn't surprise me at the same time. And I think usually, like, we have to prove something to ourselves or like know it ourselves before we can prove it to others. And so it was, definitely like surprised, but also not surprised at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And being able to carry those dueling emotions is kind of a cool thing, right?
Yeah. Because it's like you have to like, I mean, there's so much just has to line up on the day. Like the mind, the body, the like, you know, everything.
Strategy of what's going on around you.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah. So in terms of how the race played out, I think you and Martina and a couple other women were sort of bouncing around with each other for around the race's first half before you moved solidly into the lead. Talk about that early dynamic, because I think it was a lot of like other women on the downhills, you on the uphills, and then it looked like at times you were working with some women.
Yeah, the women that I was running with were Martina and Ida, and like we were kind of swapping at certain points, and I think it was generally like me putting in time on the climbs, them putting in time on the descents. But it was really cool because like Ida and I had done some training in Flagstaff in this block, and so in a lot of ways it felt like just another long run with Ida, like staring at each other's heels.
Cool.
Like and I think there's something really comforting about like running with someone you've spent time running with before. So it made it feel less like a race during those points and more like I was just like putting miles away with a friend. And then, I think coming out of the canyons is kind of when the elastic broke, but then it was really curious to hear later in the race, like how it was playing out behind
you.
And with Fujao and Marianne.
Getting closer and then moving back and then getting closer.
Yeah.
Same thing, I think, downhills versus uphills. You were making time on both of them on the uphills, and then they were starting to reel you in on the longer downhills.
Totally. Yeah, like even running Green Gate, it's like, it's so hard at that point in the race, but I felt like it was just like the right place for me to make up ground, and where I knew I could like keep putting in like a minute here, a minute there.
And you had some real estate to second place, but you didn't have a ton of real estate. Were you getting reports on sort of the coming and goings of the minutes, or did you just feel the pressure behind you?
I was getting any updates I could. So I mean,
anybody, anything.
It's like, I know it probably maybe like sounds like more like, I feel like if I was spectating the race, I'd be like, 10 minutes at Quarry Road, like they got this or whatever. But I feel like when you're in it, it feels a lot closer than
that's just around the corner, actually.
Yeah, exactly. And like to have someone like Fujao chasing you, I mean, she's so strong. And then right behind that, Marianne. So it's like, daunting group to have on your heels.
Yeah. That's the type of situation that is like they say the saying of a rising tide lifts all ships, and if the ships are rising behind you, it makes you rise to the occasion as well.
100%. I mean, I think those were fast times for the heat we had relative to the heat and everything yesterday, and just like women showed up. It was sick.
And you showed up. You put down the 4th fastest time in women's history on above average temperature year.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
It's really surreal.
You said at the beginning of this interview you didn't let yourself accept the fact you were winning the race until you crossed the line. So take us to that moment. You were like the overwhelm that was inside of you was coming out for all of us to feel. It felt so cool to watch.
Thank you. That's exactly how I felt. I mean, like I really, even like Roby Point, like Cordis and my crew that were running with me at that point were like, time to celebrate, soak it in. And even then it was like, still hard to accept until I like really crossed that line. So I just really wanted to like finish giving it everything. My mantra this whole block and race is like you versus you, which I know can sound counterintuitive when you're racing such a dense field of incredibly strong women, but I also feel like it's how I get the most out of me. And so even those last miles, Cordis was like, remember, like this isn't for anyone else, this isn't for, this is for you. And so like do it for you. And
What a sweet husband thing to say.
I know.
That's just beautiful.
I know.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah.
I'm lucky.
This is a really sweet victory at the end of a long journey, and there are other people out there who experience their own challenges, and you were on the front end of it and now you're on the back end of it. Do you have anything that you'd like to say to other people who are maybe starting a journey like that?
Sorry. Absolutely.
Strange.
I know.
I didn't see any dust in the air yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, my advice to anyone in a chapter like that would just be to like keep your love for the sport, or like your love for whatever it is that you're like trying to get through, like your love for what you're trying to return to, back at the forefront. I really kept these dreams like pinned at the front of my mind, even when it felt improbable and even when it felt like a lost cause. But I really believe that, like, I don't know, trusting the process is, it actually works.
It's never a lost cause.
Yeah, it's never a lost cause, yeah.
Congratulations to you, Abby Hall, on your win of the 2024 Western States Endurance Run. Let that soak in.
Thank you.